I'm Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. I'm doing a little reminiscing today. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, right next to where Cesar and I worked at Sky Song, where our first office, I guess it was, that's where the first office was 10 years or so ago. And we were there for a number of years until we moved inside of Thunderbird. So there's a lot of memories related to this particular area. Also, we are on April 24th going to be celebrating our 10th year anniversary, at least here in the Phoenix metro area, with the return of uh, Greg Stanton, who then 10 years ago was the mayor of Phoenix. He hosted us in downtown Phoenix. And I think there's still a video online, although I was having a hard time finding it. Hopefully, we can. He is now Representative Greg Stanton, U.S. Representative Greg Stanton, and doing a great job in Congress. And he'll be hosting or as a keynote speaker at Thunderbird, our 10th year anniversary. So looking forward to that. And then hopefully throughout this year, doing a series of things that celebrate our 10th anniversary, including finally doing a global event in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We're hosting the president of Tanzania. She's an amazing lady. And we're doing a big event, I believe, on July 9th. And we're doing a 3-day conference, July 9, 10, and 11. So if you'd like to get to Tanzania, haven't been there yet, it's on your bucket list as it is on mine. I have not been there yet. I'm looking forward to that very much, and hopefully we'll be sending out more information. We're here at League of Opportunities. It's one of our signature events that actually started over 10 years ago before Global Chamber was formed. It was intentionally aimed at helping members and leaders connect up with other people that could help them grow their business. It was intentionally meant to be for service providers to build their business referral network. The first one actually was in the Ritz-Carlton in Phoenix, Arizona. It's now some Marriott property at 24th and Camelback, center of, I guess, the financial district, if there is one in Phoenix. And it was, I think, a great setting, somewhat global setting for what now has become a regular event here at Global Chamber. We like to start with, when he's in the room, Bill Edwards. He's got 50 years of trade experience. Nobody more experienced than Bill, not just his own variety of different markets that he's knowledgeable about, but he's lived in all sorts of parts of the world. So, Bill, congratulations on all the things that you do currently with your work, including serving on the District Export Council Southern California board and leading that organization as well, and being on our advisory board for Global Chamber Los Angeles, among your many involvements. What's going on in your world, and how can we help?
Well, thanks. Am I allowed to share a screen?
Please go ahead.
Can you do it? Well, first of all, thank you for that introduction. As Doug said, one of my pro bono roles is the head of the District Export Council here in Southern California, but I'm also now on the National Association board, and I'm spending probably 5 to 10 hours a week related to Washington, D.C. issues, which is unpaid and a little bit of harassment these days. Trying to help decide what the Secretary of Commerce is going to do relative to the district export councils, which are volunteer organizations of international executives that help the U.S. commercial service by acting as unpaid or advisors to SMEs. Our current administration is not so much focused on small to medium-sized enterprise exports. It's focused on this little word called tariffs. And unfortunately, I've been sucked into that situation. But I wanted to share a screen if I could. And here it is, the World Uncertainty Index. Does everybody see the graph, the blue graph? Is it showing, Doug?
Yes, yeah, we can see. Looks like there's a little
uh,
bit of spike here recently.
well, yes, there is. And there are it turns out there's about a half dozen uncertainty indexes around the world, and they all have one thing in common these days, and it's that little spike over there to the right. Um, and international business people, the one word that we don't like is the word uncertainty. You know, we can figure out a way to work with what we have when we know what the parameters are, but when it changes constantly, it makes it a little difficult. But I do notice that if you look back on this chart to the 19 to 19 excuse me 2019 and 2020, the uncertainty was also fairly high, and you might remember somebody that was in the presidency at that point in time. So it turns out that this president's tied to uncertainty. And I know that won't surprise very many people on this call, but the key is that we need some certainty so that we can figure out how to best work with the tariffs and everything we've got going. Uh, that's my contribution for the day. So we need certainty so we can figure out how to make going global work.
Is there anything that we can do to help for you?
Uh, I appreciate that offer, but I'm really focused. I'm trying to focus on my clients that are going global, but I'm really spending about 20 hours a week now with DC, trying to ensure that we have a policy that is focused on small to medium sized enterprise exporters. Um, and I'll be in most of May. I'll be in DC with the Department of Commerce as an advisor on that. We're trying to get them off the word tariffs and onto the word exporting.
One other aspect there, this was a conversation I had last night with the head of the District Export Council for Arizona. And there were a number of on the council here talking. And apparently, one of the issues in that, which apparently I got the email, but I didn't read it yet, was a focus in away from free trade and toward fair trade, which is being defined as fair to the U.S. Is that something that you're aware of? And is that also part of your battle? There were a number of people that were really struggling. One of our members was really struggling with that, saying, look, I'm a free trader and I'm really having a problem with their approach on this right now because I don't agree with it.
I can confirm to you that the words free trade agreement will not be part of the lexicon of this administration. They are more into reciprocal trade, and they think that we have been treated unfairly over the decades by having high tariffs in other countries and low tariffs coming into this country. And that is a focus of this administration, is to try to balance. They call it reciprocal trade. I'm not sure whether that's going to work or not. But a really good example is that for the last couple of decades, if you wanted to bring a car into this country that was built in Europe, there was a 2% tariff. But if you wanted to export a car from this country to Europe, there was a 10% tariff. And therein lies what's going on right now with this administration. They're trying to, I think what they will eventually end up doing is having reciprocal tariffs at some level. But in order to get those, the chief real estate salesperson is starting out with high percentages and negotiating downward.
Got it.
That's my take. That's my take anyway, for whatever that's worth.
Got it. My response to that whole issue is certainly it's very important to get Global Chamber because the conversation for me, it's like it almost doesn't matter. It matters, but it doesn't matter to us in the sense of our focus is on making connections, helping people be successful, and it's not really disturbing my brain pattern. I'm still focused. Cesar is still focused. We're still focused on doing the right thing. I actually brought that up to the members, and one guy, he and I were texting all night. We were at a big event, and so then finally we hugged at the end of it. It's just kind of consoling each other, and we're all dealing with it in different ways. I think this morning I was listening, and I'm wrapping up this book, The Book of Joy, with Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama, and they talk quite a bit about how suffering makes you appreciate life, that suffering is good in that perspective. And so I would say, finish up your concept, uncertainty is good because it makes us appreciate certainty. And so it's part of life. They gave examples actually of, like, even just voting. When South Africa was finally allowed to vote in 1994, that followed, I think, the election in 1948 of the National Party, and finally they were allowed to vote, and it was nearly 100%, and people were so passionate and loving it. But when people are given a right, they start to not appreciate it as much. And so when we go through that suffering, it makes life better. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. And I'm going to embrace the uncertainty for the certainty that lies in the future. Thanks, Bill.
Hey, Bill, I would have a question if you may.
Yes, Tomer.
Yes, Tamer.
Hey, how are you? So, I mean, I know that you're not the one that should have to answer this, but free trade is reciprocal trade. It's just zero tariffs. So why wouldn't they be open to that?
Boy, that's really, I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree. Here's the problem. Other countries do not have free trade. We have less than 20 free trade agreements with countries worldwide. And so that means that we're getting charged tariffs. And so that's not free trade. And so you've got to go to Europe and say, okay, let's cancel all tariffs. It sounds good, but you're not going to get them to do it. It just isn't going to work. So the problem this government has is that free trade means we don't charge anything and they don't charge anything. But
Correct.
that's not really going on. It's tough to get it's tough to get back to zero if you've been charging something. Brazil is one of the worst because they have tariffs on everything, and they're fairly substantial because they want everything produced locally. So to get them to say, okay, we'll cancel all the tariffs is going to be impossible. It just isn't going to work. So that's the challenge. So free trade is not something that this administration, even the last administration, was not in favor of free trade agreements. But that was for another reason. The one with this administration is very clear. Other people are charging us, so we need to charge them. I'm not justifying that. I'm just saying that's the philosophy.
Right.
I'd love to have free trade. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there were no tariffs? Wow. But that isn't
well,
the
I was
case.
trying to understand their thinking because they have a free trade agreement with Chile and Peru, and
They do.
if Europe would do that, which they won't, but if they would do that, they should be open to it. But I don't know. I just don't
Well,
understand their thinking.
those free trade agreements were done in the past, Demer.
Right. Yeah, several years
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
We hope that they'll be adhered to, and I'll leave that one where it is.
If I may,
We got to keep moving off this topic. Sorry. Let's focus on what we are here for, and that is to help members be more successful. We are going to be talking about this on the first Friday of the month next week. We are going to be talking about this topic again, so please join that and we can continue it. Appreciate it. Let's go to David Harlow, who is managing through a lot of this uncertainty. David, good morning from Southern California, or is that where you are today? How can we help you? Tell us more. Who would you like to meet? Are you there? Uh-oh, David.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Hey, no worries. Well, are you there at the Port of LA?
No, I'm not. I'm actually locally here in Lakewood, which is our corporate headquarters. I'm actually in the office today, which doesn't happen very often. So, just a quick introduction about myself. I'm the president of ITC Diligence. We're licensed customs brokers and international trade consultants. What we're known for the most is foreign trade zones, is helping companies set up foreign trade zones and manage foreign trade zones. Foreign trade zones obviously is one of those great programs that stimulates manufacturing in the United States using sourced components and raw materials and domestic components and raw materials. It promotes exports. It promotes distribution of goods globally. So we're huge proponents of exporting from the United States and using foreign trade zones to help manage that, which obviously incentivizes manufacturing as well. And then, of course, foreign trade zones are one of the key ways to navigate or manage tariffs. And so it's definitely something to consider when in the geopolitical environment we have today. And we love to work with companies on helping them explore foreign trade zones and bonded warehouses and how they can help you. So again, any U.S. business that is involved in international trade in one way or the other and can benefit from our services. And we're always grateful to be here and to support this great community. So anything we can do to help or educate people on foreign trade zones is kind of where we stand.
Are you primarily interested in meeting the companies themselves, or economic development organizations, or municipalities, or who is the key target for you?
So we really have a two-pronged approach. Obviously, working with the actual manufacturers and importers and exporters are our immediate clients, but we also heavily invest in economic development corporations, trade associations, municipalities, and ports to help grow the foreign trade zone program and create more awareness that in turn creates jobs, retains jobs, stimulates our economy, and so forth.
Brilliant. And as Bill mentions, thank you for your service on the District Export Council of Southern California.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot, Bill. Excited to be part of it.
Yeah, let's thank you, David. Let's continue to go around the room.
Doug, 1 second. Just David, check your email. I don't want to waste time. We'll talk offline. Thank you so much.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Mariam Nazarian, are you available? Mariam is in Tbilisi, Georgia, and she's our global advisor there. There's a lot of action going on in that region between the Russian Federation and Turkey and the bloc of countries that are in that area. Georgia is right in the midst of all of that. And so if you're not able to chat today, that's okay. I just want to make sure that all of you are, if you're interested potentially in that region, we do have a series of conversations coming up in Globinars, including one on Turkey and one, and I think I've now learned to call it Turkey instead of Turkey. So that at least has been established. But then I think it's all April 10th. We've got that conversation, and then we've got a conversation on Uzbekistan coming up as well in a Globinar. So check that out. I'm just really excited by what is happening there. There's a gift in everything. And I think some of the geopolitical shifts that have happened are opening up opportunities for those regions to be opened for business in even bigger ways. So I welcome you to join us in expanding into that. Peter Grabick, you are involved around the world and in a variety of ways. You're a trade expert. Thank you for being part of Global Chamber in multiple companies. Who can we introduce to you? How can we help right now?
Yes, thank you, Doug. And yeah, I've always enjoyed all of the opportunities and contributions and ability to engage with Global Chamber. So I'm actually here in the belly of the beast of uncertainty in Washington, D.C. Bill, I'm about 5 minutes away from Dulles International. So if you want to come by and say hi when you're here, you know, you have the invitation. There's 3 areas of international business that my firm currently really focuses on. So one of them is we do often an advisory role, specializing in due diligence work, in some project finance and project development. Some of these are large infrastructure projects, and a lot of the work that we do is actually in low transparency countries in the global south. A lot of work in Africa, a lot of work in Latin America. We have another business line where we work in due diligence investigations and recovery services. Primarily, we work with export credit agencies, development finance institutions, and international banks. So, for example, Exim Bank, we've been working with them for 20 years, DFC, a lot of the European and a lot of the East Asian ECAs and DFIs as well. That's kind of a small world type business line that we work in. And we also work with some foreign direct investment, primarily through the EB-5 visa program, and we, source capital into the United States, primarily funneling it into economic development projects in the Midwestern United States, where we have regional centers. So those are really the three areas where, if there's any overlap in what you are working on, we'd be happy to bring our acumen to it. Just very briefly, I do want to say a few things about kind of the macro picture and what's going on, a few of the things that Bill touched on. I think that historically our trajectory with respect to trade policy, so it's obviously founded in comparative advantage. The old Adam Smith, David Ricardo, those are the academic, Google them offline. And it's also been the trajectory has very much been in the Cold War framework, where we were competing against communism, and that's where trade liberalism has happened. The last three administrations have had a bit of a trajectory shift, and the focus here, and there may be an emerging Washington consensus emerging, there's been a little bit more focus on the geopolitical aspects, as a little bit more realpolitik, as opposed to the Woodrow Wilson liberalism or institutionalism that, along with that has coincided with the trade policy. So I think that some of that is going to stick. By geopolitics, I'll cite Metternich, Thomas Hobbes, Richelieu, Henry Kissinger, to read up more on that. I think that one of the big things we're not going to have the structural support in the short term in terms of free trade agreements, fair trade agreements. But I do think, in my experience, and I've been doing this for about 25 years, is that relationships matter. So in the absence of structural support and advantageous structural policy, which may come around, I think relationships are important, and I think that this is an area where we can really highlight what Global Chamber does and leverage what Global Chamber does towards more positive outcomes on the international framework. So I'll thank everyone for your time and listening to me. So thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Doug. Peter, we work together. This is Pankaj. We need your service. We'll talk offline. Okay? So shoot me an email with all details.
Absolutely, Pankaj. And it's good to see many familiar faces.
I think the point on relationships is so key. When we were talking about that last night at a big event, the District Export Council, kind of a formal group of about 10 of us, the vice consul for Mexico walked over and introduced to some, and we were talking about U.S. Mexico and all the things going on. But ultimately what happened was him saying, look, we have relationships. We have, this is a long-term friendship, and we're just going to make this work. And so it's certainly something that's we all need to stress in terms of those kinds of things. Those of us that have been involved, those of you who want to continue to build your relationships, let's continue to do that, because at the end of the day, what politicians say matters. However, what we do every day also matters. Let's one question, by the way, Peter, you mentioned about the Midwest and investments there. Where in the Midwest does that investment get directed to?
Primarily around Ohio, all three of the large metros in Ohio. So, yeah.
Got it.
Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and all around there. Yeah.
I was thinking Lothar and Southern Illinois. Is that too far afield from what?
I'm sorry, you broke up for a moment. Say again.
I was thinking about Illinois and Southern Illinois with Lothar, who's in the room. Is that too far?
So the only thing is we do this under USCIS. This is very much a government program, and anyone who works in government program know that they privilege territory, and so our territory very much falls within the state for funneling investments into economic development projects. However, we have done projects in other states. A lot of that tends to be kind of lending the regulatory framework through which we are able to execute these governments that receive government oversight. So I hope that kind of answers the question, leaving some flexibility for action.
Okay. It still might make sense to be introduced both to Lothar and then also to Larry Hart in Chambers.
Absolutely, and I will say, there are regional centers that are doing this in Illinois, and we can contact them if this is a channel and a vector through which we want to execute something. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll get to you, Lothar, in a moment. I'd like to go next, however, to Vanessa Hernandez of Psychotech. Thank you, Vanessa, for joining Global Chamber, one of, I think, 8 different organizations that joined together under the NX banner. This is a global group of executive company ones around the world, centered around Belgium, but located all over the world. Vanessa, thank you for joining today.
Thank you, Doug. Nice to see you again. Sorry, but my Wi-Fi is very broke today, and I don't have enough Wi-Fi. So, but it's nice to see you again.
Wonderful, thank you. Would you have Wi-Fi to be able to explain to us who you would like to meet?
Okay, I try to. Okay. Psychotech is a Spanish company that this year is celebrating his 40th anniversary, and is specializing in executive search, leadership development, and human resources services. We have 3 offices in Spain: Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, and we have another office in Portugal and another in Peru. And as you say, we are part of Inex Network, which has presence in over the 50 countries around the world. We want to connect with companies and professionals interested in looking for solutions for their teams and looking for talent to join their projects.
Are you typically looking for what size of companies to be able to assist, and what types of projects do you get involved with? Is it usually senior executives?
Okay, there's a lot of companies that need to join the best talent in their companies, little companies and biggest ones.
Is it usually senior executive searches, or more broad than that?
I can hear you well, Doug.
Do you usually do searches that are senior only, or do you have other types of searches that you do?
Okay, the executive search is usually for senior profiles, but we have many projects with potential and young talent.
Very. Any questions? And hearing none, thank you very much for sharing. Please, for all of you, we're about halfway through. Please feel free to use the chat area to put your information. At the same time, Cesar Trabanco is in the room and making connections that happened during the conversation. If you are thinking of some ideas for people to be connected to you or to someone else, please let us know either in the chat area or send us an email to info@globalchamber.org. We'll be happy to help. Let's go to Tamer Flores. You mentioned Peru, Vanessa. Tamer originally is from Peru. He's now operating in southern Florida, central Florida, and he's helping companies scale their growth. Tamer, How can we help? Who would you like to meet right now?
Hi everyone. Most of you know me already. I'm working in several different things. I realize that you know, I do many things at the same time. I'm probably not I don't like to be set in one unique space. So I'm doing global expansion for companies. So I direct, or I become the maestro of global expansion orchestra for them. I direct all their international business and help them until they are, up and running in a different country, right? And also I'm working on a AI for investment, and what I'm doing is I'm matching investors with the startups and companies that need investment. And I'm using AI for that. I have created my own solution. I know there are others, but I'm working on mine, and it's looking really great. It's giving great matches, and I'm going to even go further and try to do the um, first connections, also using AI, and try to engage with the potential investors. That's the next step. But right now, the matching is working perfectly. And what I'm looking for right now is for my business development, international business development. I'm going to do free business plans, free international business plans. So if you know of a company that is thinking about going international, or that might want to improve their current international projects, I will be doing free international business plans, which usually I did, after I was hired, but I'm going to do them before I'm hired now and for free. So uh,
Wow,
I can demonstrate them what I'm talking about. So please, if you know companies like that, let them know they can have a free, no commitment international business plan.
amazing. Let's get you involved in one of the export leagues too. The Phoenix one is just wrapping up. The deadline for exporters to sign up is Monday. This is exporters in Arizona, but the next one's in Africa, probably Nigeria focused. Then one in Sydney, Australia, one in Los Angeles, and just kind of city by city. Once a month, we do these, and so maybe you, as a resource for one or more of those, would be great if you'd be willing to offer that as one of the prizes, if you will, for the key exporters.
Yeah, that's the new strategy, offering these free, no commitment international business plans. Yes.
It's something that everybody needs. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Let's now go to Sophia Ligeti. She herself is an exporter. And Sophia, you've had that challenge by the bad inspection, and you got charged for that inspection. And at least they came clean and admitted that they made a mistake. Now the next step is possible recovery. So step by step, hopefully that gets resolved in a little bit better way, more than just admitting. We also connected you to a potential mentor in Leslie August, and so hopefully that'll be productive. And I know Cesar had a couple other ideas for you as well. So thank you for reaching out, and thank you for sharing what you were looking for there. How else can we help? Who would you like to meet?
Thank you, Doug. Hi, everybody. And I want to thank you and Demetrius for getting involved in that issue with the US Customs. My name is, some of them, for a few guys, do you know me? My name is Sofia Lagidi. I am the president and the founder of Amerock Exports. We are an exporter of automotive products from US. All our products are made in USA. From US to several countries. We were successful before COVID. During and after COVID, we were struggling. Now I think we are on the right track. Unfortunately, with the US Customs took me by surprise, but not only us, Dog, which I found out communicating with other exporters, freight forwarders, that is happening often. And I think it need to have some investigations about this U.S. Customs who are contracting with the private agencies to have those exempts. For instance, as you know, this current transaction above more than $13,000 extra unnecessary charges. Now, others struggle with the shipments delay. For this transaction of the 8 containers, now 4 months to reach Morocco. The time when it took between 25 days to 1 month. Just today, I got an email from the boss of my customer. It is a real struggle, and this he said it clearly. This is a big loss for us, and again, this is another struggle, and I'm sure lots of exporters, they are facing this challenge, the delays of the shipments.
What
Yeah,
I'll,
yeah, go ahead.
I'll address that with the Port of LA, and at least take that action. If anybody else has interest in that topic, please let us know. Let's keep moving though. Who would you like to meet, and how can we help?
I saw here the David Harlow. I will connect with him. He had his introduction earlier, at least to know for this delays, like now 4 months for this delay and for unreasonable reasons of the carrier, which is Hapag. I will communicate with David. Maybe he can provide any guidance on this matter and how we can mitigate.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I saw your information in the chat, so thank you for sharing that. Let's now go to India and Santosh Raghavan. Santosh, sorry to miss you at the India call, and I got your message about your. Oh, look at that! That's Copenhagen.
Thanks, Doug. I'm sorry, I was busy.
Who would you like to help? Is that Copenhagen behind you, or is that where is it?
It's Belgium, Grand Place.
Okay, very good, beautiful.
So I was there for my incorporation in Belgium. So I'll be traveling again in the month of June. July, I'll be there in Europe again. So we just incorporated our own company in Belgium 3 months back, and looking forward to having some business in Europe from India. Thanks, Doug. Extremely sorry to miss out my India meetup yesterday, but I was just traveling from my procurement place to office, so I could not meet you, meet you towards the India meetup. But it's a pleasure to meet you today, and it's been long. I mean, I've been away from last 8 months from not attending the meetups, but then I'm back in town and wanted to catch up again what's happening in Global Chamber. And
How can we eat?
just to update you, we are into food exports. We export spices and rice, and we are looking forward to meet anyone who is dealing with foods, who are into food exports and imports globally, might be a wholesaler or reseller. Would love to connect with you to understand what's happening in that part of the world. I'm done. Thank you, Doug.
Okay, so you want to which markets primarily, which countries?
Majorly looking at Europe and US.
Okay, very good. I think we've already introduced you to Mr. Wolverton.
Yes, I did.
So
we are in communication now.
And Lothar might be a good one as well, given his connection to the ag markets of Southern Illinois. We mentioned Lothar earlier. He has a consulting company and helps people connect up with consultants of a variety, but he's also very much connected to the innovation that's going on in Southern Illinois, which includes the ag markets. Lothar, who would you like to meet, and how can we help you?
Well, I'm Lothar Stolowan with ZG Worldwide Consultants, and I'd like to meet with C-suite executives who are in a search for full-time to part-time talent. We have many people available for staff augmentation. We're fortunate. One of our most successful things is having a great talent pool. Our pro bono side venture is the Central Illinois Tech triangle. And what that is I think economic development in Central Illinois can be improved. We have 5 economic development groups that are competing against each other as silos. The whole region needs to be branded better to attract investors from London, LA, New York, wherever, because this is flyover territory and people couldn't care less. Agriculture is the basis of the Central Illinois economy, from agricultural production of machinery to the growing of crops and processing of crops. One positive thing that has happened is there is now a Illinois ag tech corridor between Champaign and Decatur, Illinois. That's just a small sliver of Central Illinois, but it's better than nothing. And I'm still trying to figure out why they couldn't extend it to Peoria, Bloomington, and Springfield, which are all also involved in the agricultural economy. So, much more can still be done. That Illinois Ag Tech Corridor has millions of dollars from federal grants, and it's kind of developed their biomanufacturing. So I think there's opportunities for consolidating this whole thing into a region and attract more investors from all over the world. Thanks.
Thank you, Lothar. Thanks for sharing. Let's continue to go around. Nicola of AFES Professional Services. Nicola, thank you for joining today. Who would you like to meet and how can we help?
Yeah, hello everyone. Doug, thank you for the invitation. Great to meet you this way over video at least.
Yeah.
Hopefully sometime soon in person as well. But my name is Nicola. I'm with AFS Professional Pathways. We are a Department of State designated J1 intern and trainee visa sponsors. And so we partner with US companies and businesses of various sizes, from small businesses, mid-size, and then global companies across pretty much all industries to help support bring top foreign talent to the US. So it's inbound. Interns, meaning folks who are full-time in universities, abroad, any level of education, I mean, post-secondary, so undergraduate, graduate school, and then trainees are those who are already established working professionals. And we typically partner with companies that have a global presence, that have rotational staff, that are going through training in different parts of the world. So if they are in the US, then we would sponsor them to be as a J1 trainee. In this case, the host company, for example, cannot serve as a sponsor. The federal rule is that there has to be a designated third party, which is who we are. We typically partner with companies that are, if they're not global, if they're looking to become global, to expand locally, nationally, or internationally through global talent, that is who we are kind of looking for to partner with. And currently we are, I guess the hot industries are, STEM, tech, business, and finance, and that's typically there was a lot of requests from those companies to increase their global presence through global talent. But hospitality is always popular. Really, there's no limit to what industry and where in the US, but this is kind of like just what we have seen recently in terms of demand. So, and then we are always happy to provide resources, partner with people on thought leadership. We are very present on social media and at conferences. So if we can write something together, publish something together, host a webinar together, that would be awesome as well.
Okay, that sounds great. We'd be happy to do that. So let's circle back on that for sure.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you for sharing. Let's go a little further south to Milton Castro. Milton, thank you for the work that you do in opening up markets. Who would you like to meet and how can we help?
Hey, hello, Doug. Hello, everyone. Well, now I think it's my third meeting, and it's always a pleasure to meet all you guys and learn about what's happening in the US, especially with this let's say, struggling with the new administration. And by the way, if you are feeling like this and you want to open a new market, let's come to Latin America. Let's come to Brazil. Especially for food, cosmetics, and pharma, biotech. I'm here to support you guys. My piece of this puzzle is to support you on modeling your operation, your supply chain, and give all the support that you need for Latin America and Brazil. But also, I'm professional from quality assurance and regulatory, so I can give you the first support, and also I have partners here in Latin America and in Brazil to support from the commercial side and for the rest of the way. So if you need anything from Latin America and Brazil, let's talk, let's discuss. I just send my contacts on the chat, and let's make it happen. If it's too hard in the US, let's come to Latin America and Brazil.
There's always an opportunity, no matter what's happening. Are
That's
there
right.
markets or segments that you focus in on?
Yeah, I'm focusing on cosmetics, food, medical devices, and pharma, biotech. There is a segment that I'm specialized in, which is like rare disease. So any companies that have rare disease and they are willing to come to Latin America and Brazil with a tough market, per se, especially for reimbursement. That's the segment that I'm looking for.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that information.
Thank you, Doug.
Everyone, please put your information in the chat area and continue to connect on that side of things. Rifat Kandikar, thank you for joining today. You joined a couple times and we weren't able to get to you. So hopefully, are you able to speak now? We're happy to hear from you. Rifat, are you there?
Hi. Hi, Doc. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you. Who would you like to meet and how can we help?
Thank you for giving me the floor. Hi, hello everyone. I just finished iftar. So we are working in different categories and segment. One is oil and gas exploration and imports. Second one is staffing of people in blue and white collar working sector. It can be oil and gas, energy, and IT sector. And third one is our service in the IT industry with our specialized software. So we are looking for the opportunities for the second and last options, because first option we already get some support from Caesar through some interactive leads with very professionals in the US. Now we're looking for the two options. If anyone is more interested to help us, it will be really great. Thank you.
Thank you. Cesar, are you available? A lot of that broke up. I don't know if it was on my side or it was more broadly. I heard him mention you. I heard oil and gas and a few other things. Is there anything else that you would like to add relative to Rifat?
Hey, Doug, and hi, everyone. It also broke up on my side. So Rifat, I would just recommend you, if you can leave something in the chat, that would be helpful. But I've been working with Rifat in different type of connections and needs. Like I know he was also oil and gas with a couple of introductions, and there were a couple of other things that we worked together. But again, Rifat, if you can put that in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah, what regions are we talking about?
Okay, it's for the Middle East.
For the Middle East. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Obviously,
yes, and to give the support for. Yes, give the support to from outside regarding staffing and IT solutions for the American and Canadian market. These two.
Thank you for sharing. Let's continue to go around the room. And the amazing attorney Demetrius Evans is in the room. And when Demetrius is in the room, we say all hail Demetrius. Demetrius, who would you like to meet and how can we help?
That's so funny. All hail Demetrius. Okay, can I share my screen really quick? Good morning, everybody from Chicago. We're navigating global business landscapes over here at the Evans International Law Firms. This is me. I am the general counsel, 26 years of experience, working with a lot of companies with AI right now and dealing with different systems and tariffs. Yes, the administration, I think he described it well. We're going to say it's an issue. We're coming out of this. Our core practice is international trade, intellectual property, business expansion, and regulatory compliance. So thanks for the shout out from Sophia. We are getting that money back for you. Looking at market entry strategy, risk mitigation, regulatory navigation. I'm going to skip right through here because I don't think we need all of this, but why us? Why the international law firms? Personalized approach. My personal background, not only in trade and in law and in business, but working with the wonderful Doug at the Global Chamber. I am the chair. And so let's connect, let's grow together. I've popped all of my information for LinkedIn in the chat, and I've enjoyed listening to everyone in this presentation. You guys are like amazing. Go big, go global, go GC.
Go Demetrius. You're amazing. All hail Demetrius. Thank you very much. Let's continue to go around the room. And Gary Moulton here in Arizona. Gary, you do some great work in terms of cost reduction for companies, and you're so well connected. Thank you for the great work that you do. Who would you like to meet, and how can we help?
I appreciate it, Doug, and I actually owe you something. So I really appreciate you making that comment, because I know that I owe you some follow-up. Yeah, I think, this meeting started about discussing the uncertainty around the tariffs, and obviously that is the hot topic. But I look at it as an opportunity, I think, for a lot of businesses to, strengthen operational resilience and really start looking at their overall costs. And that's what we do. Our expertise is in identifying and implementing cost savings that really reduce overall business expenses and increase the bottom line. We do this by using national benchmarking data and some of our own proprietary tools. Over 25 years doing this for businesses. And quite candidly, most businesses are overpaying for many, many services. They just don't realize it. They're bleeding, and that's my role, is to come in and triage the problem and help them stop that bleeding. And who I'm looking to speak with and who I'm looking to connect with is really CEOs, CFOs, controllers, folks in finance who oversee these expenses, typically in manufacturing companies and even other businesses. Any business that has expenses, phones, shipping, you name it, these expenses we can take a look at. And really try to find these hidden funds in these expenses and redirect these funds to obviously more productive initiatives. So again, I appreciate the time, Doug, and it's nice to meet everybody online.
Thanks for your work and support. Let's keep going. Sayali of AppReply. Thank you, Sayali, for joining today. Who would you like to meet, and how can we help? AppRely, not reply.
You said it right. So this is Siley from AppRely. We are a custom software services provider company. We work with a lot of different businesses, small, mid-size, enterprise businesses who would like to have digital transformation, build custom software, do integrations with payment systems, accounting systems, and a lot of different other third-party APIs. We also help with data migration and the performance scalability of the systems. We also do software usability audits and a lot more. We work with CRM and other project management and timesheet related management, workflow automation kind of solutions, RPAs, and have also started working in machine learning and AI. So anybody who is in this space who would like to see what technology can bring to their business, increase sales, and streamline their operations, do the business smart way, we can really help.
whether it's implementation of things like Monday.com and other applications like that. They do great work. So make sure that you're aware of what they're doing. Thank you for coming in today. There's, I think, 2 more people on the call, and we've only got a couple minutes. And so I just ask each of you just to keep it brief, although I think Tamer, or not Tamer, Pankaj, you usually do keep it brief. So thank you very much. Pankaj is the guy to talk to about big funding for big projects. And so Pankaj, is great to learn more about you and your business this year at CES and the Semiconductor Summit. Is there anything else that you wanted to add in terms of people you want to meet?
Yes, one more thing we wanted to add. Sorry for my phone is ringing. So we added one more service, international trading at Dubai. So we are looking for US partner for international trading. So that already I added in the chat. So already we are doing the FDI for global market, and we met Jensen Huang, probably you seen his picture. So we are working with NVIDIA as well as for their global partner, but we need a US partner for international trading. So anyone is already we are talking to David and Peter, we know them. So probably anyone, we are looking for multiple US international trading partner. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, I think Jim Cook. Jim is an extraordinary mentor to companies, future unicorns. Jim, is there anything that we can do to help right now?
At least I'm at least. Jim Cook, we specialize in bringing companies into the United States. Our specialty is market disruptors. If they can't take competition, or they don't have moats, or they don't have patents, it's very, very hard to get things started in this country. But our specialty is bringing in market disruptors to the U.S. offshore. That's as quick as I can get it. Everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. I'll just wrap up and then turn it over to Cesar for a last word. On that topic of coming into the U.S., there's a lot of that going on. So we talked at the beginning of this meeting about some of the challenges. Challenges create opportunities, and one of those is landing companies in the U.S. The Japanese, the Koreans, so many other countries are coming in because of what the geopolitics are driving and other reasons. It's a great market as well. And so take advantage of that. On April 24th, we're helping Altos Bank launch in Los Altos, California. It's the first new bank in California in over 20 years. It's the next Silicon Valley Bank. And so if you'd like to attend in person, we'll be having a lot of different country representatives there at the bank as part of that Global Chamber event. It's a live event, and it may be virtual. We're not sure exactly if that's going to be the case, but if you're going to be in the Bay Area in April 24th, and I may actually have that wrong. It's April 22nd. It's a Tuesday. Sorry about that. April 22nd, join me and Sanjeev Kagram and a variety of other Global Chamber members at Los Altos Bank, or Altos Bank in Los Altos, California. Cesar, any last words?
Thanks, Doug, and thanks everyone for attending today. As you know, you can always come back to me and ask for any introductions, or if you want to catch up on anything you missed, feel free to reach out. I was checking about establishing in the US. We have an event on April 16th. It's about expanding through acquisition in the US market. So make sure you go to our website and register for that one if you're interested. And there are a couple of interesting events coming up in the next couple of weeks, like doing business in Turkey or Uzbekistan and many other different countries. Milton, I need to follow up. I want to do one in Brazil as well. So a lot of things happening, and Jem can always share the link to the calendar, and we're always here to help. And we have opportunities in Sri Lanka next Tuesday as well. So it's going to be a busy and interesting April. Thanks, everyone.
Be global and unstoppable, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.